Hello, my name's Charles de Lastic. I'm the Managing Director of Blue Bond Tax Planning. I've been helping clients for over 18 years avoid inheritance tax, and we've helped hundreds of clients save millions of pounds in potential inheritance tax bills. So today's video is around the subject of how does putting money into a trust actually protect my children and other beneficiaries? Okay, welcome back. So as I said, today's video is around how does a trust actually protect my beneficiaries and help them retain wealth in the long term? Well, very simply, when you place assets into a trust, what you're effectively doing is giving the assets out of your estate. Now, if you do that during lifetime, and providing the amount you put in is less than the nil rate band, which is 325,000, then there won't be an immediate tax charge. If you gift more than 325,000 into a trust during lifetime, there will be an immediate 20% tax charge. So we've never done that, to be honest. Also, when you die, there wouldn't be any inheritance tax savings, because if you gift anything more than 325,000, whether it's into a trust or to anybody else, let's ignore the allowance for the residential nil rate band. That only applies actually to a main residence. But effectively, if you give more than 325, whether it's to a trust or to an individual, there will be inheritance tax. So on death, there is no inheritance tax saving by putting the money into a trust. But once the money is in the trust, how does it actually protect the assets? So let's think of the trust as a box. So here's a box of tissues. So when a person dies or during lifetime, they put the assets, there's the assets, they put them into the trust, and the money's in the trust, right? So it's in that box. When the trustees who control the trust, so let's say I'm a trustee, I'm controlling the trust, I'm passing the money out to the beneficiaries. When they go to pass the money out, we ask those beneficiaries to sign a separate legal agreement saying that the money is a loan from the trust. So this is really important, because it's the whole mechanism that protects the assets, whatever the issue is. So by making a loan to the beneficiaries, it's interest-free, it's for the rest of their lives, and it's repayable on demand by the trustees. Well, in most family trusts, your children will be the trustees when you die anyway, or potentially your grandchildren, right? So inevitably, they're their own trustees. In the same way as I can be a director of my own limited company and also own the shares, in a trust, the trustee controls the trust on behalf of the beneficiaries. So they lend themselves the money is the point. But because there's more than one trustee and because there's more than one beneficiary, because normally a trust would say my children and my grandchildren and potentially my great-grandchildren would all be potential beneficiaries of this trust. So let's say then one of your children 10 years after you die has to go into a divorce court. They go and see their brother or sister and say, look, unfortunately, we're getting divorced. They say, sorry to hear that. We need to protect the money in the trust. And then the trustees collectively draw the money back into the trust by utilising the legal agreement, right? So the money's now in the trust. The divorce takes place. The day after the divorce is settled, the money can be passed out to the beneficiary once more. Now, there's no way really a judge can overturn something like this, because you can't define one of the children as a beneficiary. Okay, so it's my children and my grandchildren, even if they're not born yet, is the point. It's down to the discretion of the trustees. So in the same way is that if a couple were to get divorced and they owned a house worth 800,000, and they had a £200,000 mortgage, they couldn't take 400,000 each and go their separate ways. No, they would have to pay their mortgage back first and take the remaining money to be split between them. In the same way, the trust acts like a lender, and it has lent the money to the beneficiary, and that money is due back when the trustees demand it. And that's the protection mechanism that works. So it even works in the event of bankruptcy of one of your children or their spouses, for instance. if one of your children dies early, right, then it stops the grandchildren having immediate access, because on death the money is reclaimed by the trustees back into the trust, and then the trustees control it to pass on to the grandchildren if they think they're old enough, etc., etc. So all of this mechanisms comes around the fact that the loan is made from the trust, and it's a legally drawn up agreement and signed and witnessed and everything else to make sure it's legally binding. And that's the mechanism that protects your children in the long term. Hopefully that makes sense. If you thought that video was useful, then please give us a thumbs up and a like, as it helps my channel. But thank you very much for listening, and goodbye for now. Bye.